this is episode 5 of Shadowrun Returns, or Shadowrun Dragonfall. Dystopia, welcome back. I have news for you. In your absence, I have been looking into the Harfeld Manor. Whatever Faurswing is up to, it is both large-scale and well-funded. I've uncovered a money trail leading from holding companies all over the world to an offshore fund with a dummy address. From there, all of that freshly laundered money flows directly into Harfeld estate. Wait a second, why would the dragon have investors? That doesn't make sense. It's doubtful that the Firewing's pawns even know where their money is going. This is typical of draconic plots. Uncover a stream of money flowing behind the scenes, and there's a fair chance that you'll find a dragon at the receiving end of it. To a dragon, conspiracy is second nature. But Firewing was different. She didn't scheme or plot, she acted. Yes, and look where it got her. When the Firewing launched her attack on humanity, it was an act of hubris. She lashed out because she didn't consider our species to be a threat. It would be equally hubristic for us to assume that she will make the same mistake twice. I will continue digging into this, while you and the team tackle your next run. With luck, I will have more information to share upon your return. Sounds good, Paul. One last thing, Dystopia. Mallet was able to restore the readable surfaces of one of Green Winter's DVDs. If you'd like to take a look, you will find it sitting beside the player. I'll check it out. Very good. Mallet is still working on the other DVDs from the bundle. Many of them are extensively damaged, and getting anything off them is proving to be quite a chore. She told me that she'll be in touch if and when she makes any headway. Thanks, Paul. Load the second DVD. Play track 1. Alright, as I said in my last recording, I've been having trouble finding hard facts on Faurswing, so I thought I'd open things up a bit. Let's see what the rumor mill has to say. The screen jumps and Winters reappear in a different location. He is now clutching a mug of soy calf in both hands, and there are bags under his eyes. Well, that was enlightening, assuming that any of it is true, that is. So for the past 5 hours, I've been poking around some of the crazier fringe theories related to dragons and the SOX. As a reminder, the SOX is an irradiated wasteland between France and Germany. It got zoned off back in '08 after the Cattenom Gau reactor meltdown. Anyway, there are all kinds of rumors floating around about that place. I've heard stories about the walled city in there that operates on a survival of the fittest, kill or be killed basis, sort of like a nightmare inversion of Berlin. All of the anarchy, but none of the stability that the F-state provides. The radiation poisoning, cancer, and mana pollution are just the icing on the cake. So when Adrian helped the Luftwaffe shoot Faurswing down, she crashed into the SOX. That much is well known. What isn't as well known are all of the modern day myths that have arisen about her since. And tonight I've heard an earful. I chatted up a girl who claimed to be a ghost rat, that's a smuggler that operates in the SOX. She told me about a dragon cult called the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. Apparently, these cultists worship some sort of radioactive ghost dragon. Could be Faurswing, or it could be nothing, but it's worth digging into all the same. Another thing that my little ghost rat told me, the popular rumor in the SOX is that Faurswing's astral form was, I guess you'd say, mutated by all of the background radiation. Some of the glowpunks out there say that she's shed her body like an old coat. Others say that she's trapped, doomed to languish as an intangible radioactive ghost. I don't know how much credence to give any of this. After all, I don't have any proofs that my ghost rat is even a ghost rat. She might be... But then, she could also be run-of-the-mill glowpunk. Or maybe she's just yanking my chain, and she's never been into the SOX at all. Who knows? Well, it's food for thought anyway. I don't know whether the thought of some radioactive ghost dragon thing is any scarier than a genuine dragon is, but it's interesting all the same. Now the big question is, will any of this get me any closer to finding Adrian? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no, but you never can tell. Play track 2. The screen goes black for a moment, then Green Winters appears on the screen. The timestamp of the video reads 20:54, 11:12. Alright, let's continue thinking outside the box. After the Dragonfall, the great dragon Kaltenstein came flying into the SOX to rescue the Firewing, but he was driven off, some say killed, by Loffer and Nebelhair. So what if there's another dragon involved in all of this? Winters grabs a thick, leather-bound tome from a shelf behind him, licks a finger, and begins to leaf through it. Alright, so let's run down the list of major dragons that could be helping her. First, there's the Golden Worm, Loffer, the CEO of Saderkrupp, and quite possibly the single most dangerous being on Earth. Loffer is a local boy, so he'd be in a position to help Faurschwein. He certainly has the financial capability to help her. He could send a small army into the SOX if he wanted to. So he's definitely got the means, but I can't see how he'd have the motive. He actively prevented the Firewing's rescue back in 2012, after all. Same thing is true for Nebelhair, so let's scratch off both of them off the list. He flips a page, frowning. We've got Aiden, the great Sirush. He's operating out of Turkey, by all accounts. He's not a fan of Lofweir. They're actively competing for territory in the Middle East. So I suppose that could be considered motive. Reviving the Firewing might cause problems for the Golden Worm. But would you risk a war with Saderkrupp by straying into Lofweir's territory? Again, I don't think it's likely. He turns another page. There's Celedir out in Wales. He's pretty heavily invested in Transys Neuronet, so he's got the money. But he's too busy dealing with the BTL killer scandal that Transys is going through out in London to get his claws dirty in the SOX. Flip. Dunkelsan out of the UCAS. He pauses, shakes his head. Then he slams the tome shut. No, this is a waste of time. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am that the Firewing is acting alone. Dragons don't cooperate unless they absolutely have to. After all, why bother making nice with your equals when you got an entire planet full of pawns at your disposal? They don't need to work together, they have us to exploit. Play track 3. While this track does load, it's clearly corrupted. The screen fills with a meaningless stream of text. Play track 4. This file is partially garbled. You can recognize a few words here and there, but they're interspersed amidst a solid block of corrupted text. The file is corrupt. The screen fills with a meaningless assortment of ASCII characters. The screen goes black, and the same digital chime that you heard on the Dragonfall DVD plays again. A crackle of static fills the air, followed by that same non-familiar electronic whine. A few moments later, the display goes live. Vauclair looks haggard. His eyes are heavily bagged and bloodshot, and his hair is mussed. He holds a cigarette in an unsteady hand. Hermie, it's me. I can't sleep. I don't know where you are. Out having fun, no doubt. Maybe flirting with one of those unattainable beauties that you're always chasing. He tries not to smile, but it quickly disappears. He takes a drag on his cigarette. That's good. I want you to live a pleasant, normal life. After all, one of us should. Vauclair rubs his eyes. I can still smell the smoke, Hermie. It's almost a year later, and I can still taste the stench of burning corpses. When I sleep, I can hear the sirens and the screams. There is no sound in this world as horrible as burn victims' screams. The doctors would call this PTSD, I'm sure. They'd have me in therapy, maybe dose me up on SSRIs, like they do to our veteran soldiers. He chuckles, then takes another drag. Quite a story for the tabloids. The great dragon slayer, Adrian Vauclair, mentally incapable of wrestling with his own demons. He shakes his head. No therapy for me, and certainly no medication. I have a reputation to live up to, however poorly deserved it is, and however little I want it. He pauses, stubs out his cigarette. The dragon is still alive, Hermie, of that I am certain. One day I will find her, and then perhaps I'll be able to sleep through the night. The display goes black and the background wine fades away. A moment later, you find yourself deposited back at the menu screen. Eject the DVD. Load the third DVD. A soft whirring sound fills air as an ancient DVD spins the disc up to speed. The scratch LCD display comes to life and a menu fills the screen. Play track 1. The display goes blank for a moment. Then the face of Green Winters winks into the screen. The timestamp on the video reads 20:42:08:05. I was thinking about Adrian today, not as he was when he disappeared, not as the fabled dragon slayer, or the big-time CEO of Deal Defense. I was thinking about when we were kids. Well, I was always more of a kid than he was, of course. He's 50 years older than me, in a way. He was more like a parent than a brother. Winters pauses. His gaze drops to an invisible point on the table in front of him. So I was thinking about this time when we were on holiday. Our parents took us out to the island of Pole to enjoy the beach. I must have been about 5 years old. Adrian was 20. It'd be his last family vacation with us. A year later, he'd begin his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. But on this trip, he was my brother, and when I fell out of the little paddle boat that our parents rented and started sinking fast into the Baltic, he was the one who dove in to rescue me. You saved my life that day, Adrian. I love you forever for that. And I will find you. I owe you that much. Play track 2. The display goes blank. The timestamp on the video reads 20:49:06:06. Found an old news article that mentions Adrian from way back in 2036. It was printed in a financial magazine called Das Finanzwesen. One of those chick print-based mags that they produced for the retro crowd. There aren't any clues in here, but it's good to see someone else acknowledge his existence. He clicks an off-screen button and the image of Winters disappears. It is replaced by a digital scan of a magazine page. SK stock suffers in post-buyout brain drain, November 12, 2039. In the aftermath of the Dragon Lofwyrs hostile takeover of Cedar-Crop, Schwerindustriegesellschaft SKI is a continuing brain drain of high-level executives is causing ongoing worry among company shareholders. The company's stock took a major hit when Lofwyr deposed former CEO Wilhelmina Graf Benoit last August. 3 months later, long-held power positions within the SKI empire continue to empty as the Dragon consolidates his power base. The most recent casualties of Lofwyr takeover include Alexander Kobayashi, former CEO of Sadar Munitions, Matthaus Donner, former treasurer of Rule Datafax, and Werner Harding, former CEO of Deal Defense. Harding stepped into the role to replace Dr. Adrian Beauclair, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances 2 years ago. Winter's face winks back onto the screen. So there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian a mere 2 years after his disappearance. My brother, the footnote. Play track 3. While this track does load, it's clearly corrupted. The screen fills with a meaningless stream of text. A rattling sound fills the air as the disc grinds in its tray. A few seconds, the screen fills with text. Dr. Beauclair, 2034-09-10. it is my sad duty to inform you that my unanimous vote of the Aufsichtsrat, your position as CEO of Deal Defense, will be terminated at the end of this calendar month. Your continued misallocation of company funds to pursue personal agendas cannot and will not be tolerated any longer. The supervisory board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured during your pursuit of the Dragonfall must have been enormous. But your continuing obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon I might add, has proven a negative influence on this company and an unjustified drain on company resources. The board wishes you all the best in your future endeavors. We have prepared a generous severance package to assist you in this time of transition. If there is anything more that we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to ask. Werner Harding. Eject the DVD. Check your inbox for new messages. Salvage DVD. The screen flickers to life and Mallet's face appears. From the shifting background and ambient noise, it's clear that this message was recorded on a portable device. Hi Dystopia, just wanted to tell you that I've met with limited success in working on that stack of DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the DVD on the table beside your DVD player, you will find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all of the files on it, but I think that you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working on the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out much hope, though. They're all badly damaged and suffer from disc rot besides. I'll be in touch. My best to you and your team. Hijack shipments. Met Bakunari to Dystopia. If you value new hardware coming into the Kraus Bazaar, we need to talk. One of my weapon shipments was hijacked by a local gang. I can promise 500 yen, and if you can recover the shipment, I'll have some new gear on the shelf. Come see me for the details. Still alive. Jaina, Dystopia. I guess that I should thank you. You got me out of that horrible job alive. I don't think I could have made it on my own. What happened on that run took everything else away from me, but at least I'm still breathing. The Lodge turned me into a killer, Dystopia, that gnaws at my guts every minute of every day. And I still can't sleep at night. Innocent people, normal people, died because of what I did. And you know why they made me do it? Because they could. I don't know, maybe this doesn't bother you. You're a Shadowrunner after all. You kill people all the time. Just another day at the office, huh? Well, I'm not like you. I can't just kill people on the job and forget about it the next day. This is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I don't know how to live like this, but it's still better than not living at all. That's what I keep telling myself, and so I figured that I might as well tell it to you too. Claim payment for a pharma cleanup job. Excellent job, Dystopia. You're a credit to your profession, and I would not hesitate to hire you again. Your fee will be transferred to your account immediately. Payment from client 15,000, deducted for crew salary 4,000, ammunition and resupply cost. Automatic deduction for Alice funds minus 7,500. Reminder sent to Dystopia's account. Payment transfer complete. Claim payment for humanist data steal. You submit the job as finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. Samuel Beckenbauer. Here's your payment as promised. Beckenhauser. A moment later, a second message pops into your inbox, your payment details. We are all pending and active jobs. MK6 prototype extraction. Amsel's face winks onto the screen. Dystopia, here you will find the complete transcripts of my conversation with Herr Schmidt, a potential client. As you will see, the details of the job are a bit more vague than I would like, but the payout is quite substantial. After reading the transcript, you may choose whether or not to accept the job. If you respond in the affirmative, your client will be notified, and I will make all necessary preparations for the run. One other thing, Herr Schmidt provided me with a device to assist you on the run. He calls it a little black box. Apparently, it can be used to compromise the power and security systems of the run site. If you hope to take the job, be sure to take it with you. Amsel's image flickers, then winks away. A moment later, a glowing blue text field begins to scroll up from the bottom of the screen. Guest, greetings, Herr Amsel. I trust that this connection is secure. Naturally, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking? Call me Herr Schmidt. Very well, Herr Schmidt, you have some business for me. Indeed, I have a job for your team. A simple matter. Judging by what I've heard of your team, I imagine they will be well suited for the task. Go on. The interests that I represent have learned that AG Chemi Europa is working on a company-wide project. Something very secret, very new. Reliable sources inform me that they're keeping a working prototype of this new venture at their Berlin facility. I see, and your employers wish us to acquire this prototype for them, naturally. What is this project? If you want my team to grab a prototype for you, they'll need to know what they're looking for. I'm not at liberty to say. I can tell you that the prototype has been branded MK6. I can also tell you that your team will find it on the 25th floor of the Berlin facility, in the office of one Albrecht Haushofter. Further, I can assist your team in disabling building security and gaining access to the 24th floor. From there, however, they will be on their own. Such vagueness can be dangerous, Herr Schmidt. I will not commit my team to run without a better understanding of what the job entails. Facing such dangers is the purpose of a Shadowrunner, Herr Amsel. Your team will be rewarded handsomely for their services. My employers have set aside 20,000 yen for the job. Consider it hazard pay if you wish. Make it 25,000 yen or look somewhere else. 22,500 yen. Final offer. Very well, I will pass your offer on to my team. Are there any further details that you can provide? Haushofter's office will be locked behind a vault door. The lock is old-fashioned, of the mechanical variety. I will provide your team with a copy of the key. I will also supply you with a little black box, a solid-state device that your team can use to override a variety of building systems. Your team will enter through the facility's underground garage. When your team has acquired the MK6, have them exit through the same garage. I will have a van there, waiting to extract them. Thank you, Herr Schmidt. I will pass your offer on to my team. Good day, Herr Amsel. The text field disappears. A single line of text pops onto the screen, center of the screen, taking its place. Accept job. Yes or no. Accept the job. Run accepted. Client notification sent. You take the little black box from the desk and pocket it before returning your attention to the screen. Access to Shadowrun BBS. Post pay data for sale. Post the Humanis safe house list. Posting will remain active for 2 days. Post the sharing pharma AG chemical research data. Why is this still blue? Hello. Hey buddy, sorry to bother you, but I could use some help over here. You want to make a little extra scratch? Shouldn't take long. Sure, what's the problem? Well, me and my buddy Victor got called in from the next keys over. Something's wrong with the sewers around here. Your local plumbers and mechanics are all useless. Vic and I talked to them, tried to get them to give us the maintenance schedule for the sewer pumps. They just scratched their heads at us, said that the machinery down there just took care of itself. My best guess is that your pumps have shut down. Happens from time to time without proper maintenance. When the pumps shut down, the waste started piling up and it's causing some pretty major overflow problems downstream. Go on, I'm listening. Well, Victor went down into the sewers while I was getting stuff out of the truck. When I come back, well, I was about to climb down there, but I heard these awful screams. They went on, and then they just stopped. I froze up, nearly shat myself. To be honest, I don't know what to do, but I can't go down there, not after that. The problem is probably something basic, a clog that needs to be cleared, something like that. Restarting the pump should take care of it, but no goddamn way I'm going down there. If you do the job for me, I'll give you the yuan we were paid for it. I don't need it. You can have it all. I can live without the money, but someone's gotta fix those pumps before I leave. Fine, I'll do it. You're a lifesaver, Shammer. If you find Victor, well, if he's still alive down there, tell him I'm sorry. Assemble the team and head in. The sewers, a ghostly labyrinth of tunnels and dead-end passageways, make up the network of the sewers beneath the Krauss Bazaar. You climb down the ladder into this shallow underworld and reel at the wave of foul smells that washes over you, clogging your sinuses and saturating your clothing. As your eyes adjust to the light, you find yourself standing at the edge of a narrow channel of murky, grey-green water. The rush of churning water echoes down the tunnel. You catch a flash of motion in your peripheral vision, something man-sized, moving fast, flitting across the far end of the tunnel. You strain your eyes to see it, but to no avail. The thing, whatever it is gone. Access pump status. Pump 1 is stopped. Analysis. South turbine water flow failed. The south turbine has been deactivated. Steady water flow is stopped. Pump test running. Passed. The pump is operational, but not receiving full water flow from the south turbine. Access pump operations. Error. Pump operations have been rerouted to the facility's central computer system. Access pump status. Pump 2 stop. Analysis. South turbine water flow failed. Pump test running failed. The pump has been clogged. Clog cannot be resolved until the water flow has been restored and the pump is shut down completely. Then restarted. These meta-human bones have been picked clean. Corpse mangled beyond recognition. The turbine is currently powered down. Activate the turbine. Safety lock has been engaged. Please input authorization. Bypass the safety protocols. Safety lock disengaged. Activate the turbine. The turbine worst life. Well, hello there. Infection. Jeez. His corpse has been eviscerated, its limbs have been torn clean off, and its ribcage is oddly deformed. The tattered shreds of a blue maintenance uniform hang loosely off of its chest. Search the body. You find a well-worn manual entitled Vartungshandbok, Ausgab 2042. The book is filled with the depiction of turbine and pump cross-sections, tools and descriptions of maintenance procedures. Few of the pages have been bookmarked with colorful bits of paper. Flit to the yellow bookmark. This page is dominated by a detailed illustration of turbine cross-section. Scrolled in the margin is number 822896. Flip to the game bookmark. There are some notes written in the margins of the page, but you don't recognize the language. The only word you can make out is computer, written several times. Pocket the book and leave. Water flow operation control. System initializing. Done. Restart pump 1. Pump is restarting. Done. Pump 1 is fully operational. Restart pump 2. Pump is deactivating. Blockage detected. Clearing obstruction. Done. Pump restarting. Has completed with success. Running diagnostics. Success. Pump 2. Operating within normal parameters. Walk away. Hello. A shambling mound of ragged flesh stumbles towards you. There is a look of desperation in its eyes. Please, don't shoot. The ghoul's breath reeks of rotting meat. We're not like the others. I don't believe you. No, please, listen to me. The ghoul takes another faltering step towards you. The Krieger strain takes a heavier toll on some of us than others. Many of my kin have been driven mad by the virus, but I'm still sane. Keep talking. We've lived down here, under the Kraus Bazaar, for years. For all that time, this place has provided refuge from the world above. We traded our labor for sustenance, both for ourselves and for our feral brothers, and we survived. But now our food supply has gone interrupted, and the feral ones have gone mad with hunger. They're a danger to everyone, even us. You worked for food. Who was feeding you? The doctor, a topsider from the Kraus Bazaar. He kept us fed. The contract guaranteed it. Under terms of our deal, we maintained the pumps that keep Kraus Bazaar's sewage flowing. In return, the doctor gave us medical waste to eat. With proper rationing, we found that we could get by on what he gave us. The Decker monitored both sides to ensure our mutual cooperation, but with her death, the doctor has reneged on the deal. Without food, the food guaranteed by the contract, the feral ones have gone mad, and in their madness, they have made it too dangerous for us to maintain the pumps. Was this Decker named Monica by any chance? It nods. Yes, that was her name. Doctor, you mean Dr. Esquivel? Yes, his contribution kept our community alive, helped us thrive. But now that the Decker is gone, he has demanded payment for our feedings. We have no money, but he does not care. He tells us that we must find some, or that he will let us starve. I think that I have a solution to your problem. It's Milky Eyes Widen. Yes, please, whatever you can do. Our situation is desperate. I'm going to have a little talk with Dr. Esquivel. The ghoul nods. Yes, perhaps you can convince him where we could not.
What?
We have a comlink provided to us by the Decker. It is a direct line to Esquivel's office. If you call him, he will answer. You pick up the comlink receiver. It's a custom job, cobbled together from a jumble of high-end parts. It reminds you of your mission computer, Monica's handiwork. There is a series of staccato clicks as the connection is made. Dr. Esquivel's voice pours into your ear. It's thick with a blend of irritation and insolence. If you're calling me to beg again, you might as well hang up now. I've been bled by your people for too long now. There are plenty of shops and organ leggers out there who'd pay good money for... Let me cut you off right there. This is dystopia, Dr. Esquivel. Dystopia? Esquivel tries to hide the surprise in his voice. He doesn't do a very good job. What are you doing on this line, my friend? Catching you red-handed. You had some explaining to do, Doc. Look, Dystopia, I don't know what those things have told you, but I am well within my rights to charge for that material. They've never paid me a thing for my services, and they've been keeping the Kraus Bazaar sewage running, Doc. Well, yes, but I don't know why it's my responsibility to pay for them. Doctor, please, you know as well as I do what needs to happen here. What I know is that I'm not doing this for free anymore, period. Contracts don't last forever, and you'll forgive me for saying so, Dystopia, but I can see no good reasoning to continue honoring this one. My clinic is a business, not a charity. I'm not giving you new friends anymore biomaterial unless they pay me for it. The girls don't have any money, you know that, but maybe they have something else that you want. What, like the barter system? I don't think so. I can't imagine that a bunch of sewer-dwelling monsters would have much of value to trade. They're people, Doctor, not monsters. They've already been working for their meals. Maybe you could come up with other things for them to do. That's an interesting suggestion. The line goes quiet for a moment. I might be able to work with that. I'll tell you what, you tell the leader that I'll continue feeding them. In return, they'll keep the sewage maintained like they used to, and they'll agree to do odd jobs for me when I call. Just so we're on the same page, what sort of odd jobs are we talking about? The sort that a pack of bloodthirsty ghouls might be good at. Use your imagination. Deal, I'll give you the message. Very good, and tell him that I'm looking forward to working with him. You're back. I spoke with Esquivel. He's offered to resume your feedings, but only on 2 conditions. The shambling figure eagerly clasped his head. Yes, please, tell me this condition. We are willing to be reasonable. He wants you to continue maintaining the sewers, and he wants you to do jobs for him. I see. Its voice goes quiet. Tell me, what sort of jobs does he have in mind? He wasn't specific, but I think that he was talking about jobs of the bloody kind. A downcast look crosses the ghoul's face. It looks away. I am not surprised. He sees us as monsters, and he intends to force us into acting like monsters, his own pack of mindless creatures to command. We will be forced to discard that which is most precious to us, and act like what the world already thinks that we are. This is a price of survival for us. This is the deal that you brokered. It isn't ideal, I know, but then again, nothing ever is. Well, I suppose that I must thank you. The ghoul turns away in misery. Please leave us, and please do not come back. The fresh air of Kraus Bazaar is a welcome relief after your time in the sewers. A cool breeze drifts across the street, carrying with it the smell of food being prepared, cheap alcohol being poured, and fires being lit against the cold. The stench of the sewers, however, still lingers in your nose, a bad olfactory aftertaste. At least the pumps are working again. Sewage overflowing into the streets would certainly smell far worse. Drake, finally, I was worried that you wouldn't come back either. So tell me, what happened? Everything good? Everything go okay? It's taken care of. You can leave after you give me my money. What about Victor? Your friend isn't coming, I'm sorry. Christ, poor Vic. I don't know how I'm gonna tell his folks. Real close-knit family they were. I found this on his body. Maybe you could give it to them. Hey, thanks. He turns the manual over in his hand, rubs his thumb over the careworn paper cover. They'll appreciate it. Here's the money I promised you. Welcome back. You need some weapons, some ammunition, perhaps? Got your message about that missing shipment. How can I help? He nods. A gang from a nearby Kies has been hijacking shipments bound for the Kraus Bazaar, taking money out of our pockets. I could use your help to stop this from happening. Your dear departed Monica used to provide encryption and information control for the Kraus Bazaar. Now that she's gone, we merchants have been having no end of trouble. The obvious answer is that a gang has been intercepting our communication. What kind of communications? Shipping manifest, payment orders, that kind of thing. A group with an agenda could use that information to set an ambush, and that's just what this gang has been doing. Several cargo trucks full of goods have already been hijacked and routed to the Kraus Bazaar. I had a tracking device placed on the last shipment that I sent out, containers full of weapons and medical supplies. Sure enough, it got taken, and I tracked it to Gesundbrunnen. If you've never been there, it's a Kies built out of an old U-Bahn station and some old bunkers. Rumor has it, a new gang called the Rabengeisters is holed up there. I suspect that the two things are related. So I need you to go to Gesundbrunnen, find the Rabenmeister, and get Ravengeister and get our goods back. I can offer you 500 yen for the task, and if you can recover a missing weapon shipment, I'll be able to sell you some better hardware too. I'll take care of it. Good, it's about time I had some new inventory come in. And one more thing, Dystopia, I'm gonna need you to go in light on this one. Take a friend along if you like, but no more than one. If you spook him, they could trash the merchandise. Best go quiet. Best go soon, too, before the trail goes cold. You should talk to Paul Emsel before leaving the Cross Bazaar. Okay. She looks up from her comm, idly blowing the gum bubble and quickly popping it. Hello again, I hear you've been busy. Gossip travels fast, doesn't it? It's not gossip, it's work, survival really. What makes it that you need to survive, working like this? Well, you know, Alto always says, if you do not spy, how will you know who's boss? She waves her hand as though to excuse her poor memory, or something like that. I'm just a kid, what do I know? Intel is important, but that should be a lesson for when you're older, don't you think? Cammy puffs up indignantly, and you realize how young she must really be. She couldn't be out of her teens yet. And what does that mean? Well, it's just that there's probably some stories that are hard to hear at your age. She glances away furtively, apparently remembering something, before beaming back at you. You'll be surprised what I've seen, even before I started being an Intel hound. I can handle it, otherwise Alto wouldn't trust me to. Speaking of which, I should get back to work. Let me know if there's something fun going on, yeah? She lazily tips her invisible hat at you before returning to her common tourist. Amsel calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. His eyes are glued to his computer display. Dystopia, Frau Muller should be on her way, but before you go to the meeting site, I have news. He glances at you, and his words trail off. Upon seeing the expression on your face, Amsel's voice became grave. It can wait. Tell me what has happened. I had some trouble on the U-1. Somebody set up an ambush. Amsel pauses, then gives a curt nod. Truth be told, I've been expecting that something like this might happen. I'm just glad that you made it out alive. Hand over the encrypted PDA. One of the attackers dropped this. Amsel takes the PDA from you and examines it. Yes, I should be able to extract some information from this. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into his computer and goes to work. A few moments later, he lets out a grunt dismay. Well, Dystopia, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately, that's all that I'll ever be able to pull off this thing. All that anyone will, truth be told. It must have been running some kind of counter-intrusion software. The instant that I gained access, it bricked itself. Amsel disconnects the useless PDA and drops it to the floor. It clatters to the rest of the metal floor. What did you manage to pull off it? A com file. The audio is all there. But it looks like we've only got video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file and a nightmarish, familiar face appears on the screen. Bachmeier. The voice bleats out from Amsel's speakers, filling the room. Audran here. What's your status? Bachmeier's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted him on the U-bomb, just like you said, probably on his way to a job. As per your instructions, we're gonna try to take him out on his way back. He'll be more vulnerable that way, hopefully injured and low on ammo too, but only time will tell. Good man, proceed as instructed. Will do. Cosman is rigging up an ambush spot now. We'll try to make it quick. The work with the nightmare face notes. Send me a com when the job is done. Audran out. The image on the computer screen dies. Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance. Dystopia, suspect the Green Winter's predictions are coming through. I believe that Fauerswing is behind us. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can feel the worry that's eating at him. Be on your guard, you and the rest of your team. You made it through this attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least now we have a name to put to the face, Audran. That's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I have been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence, and coincidentally enough, that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. You might recall that I said I'd dig into Audran's skin graft. Well, I did, and that search has finally borne fruit. One of my contacts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. Amsel pulls open a file on his computer. A medical chart opens up on the screen. As it turns out, our scarred friend's skin grafts were performed at a legitimate hospital, after all. Some good news for once. What do they say? Well, they're rather light on identifying information. Our friend's name is listed as Max Musterman, the local equivalent of John Doe. But they do cover his injuries in great detail. Audran's injuries were extensive. He had 2 broken ribs and a shattered pelvis, and he had sustained third-degree burns over 60% of his body. Most damningly of all, he was suffering from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation, a lethal dose without treatment. The information dries up at this point. We know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened afterwards remains a mystery. He pauses for a moment, studying your reaction. Your thoughts, hold nothing back. I'd like to hear everything that comes to mind. Audran might have spent some time in the SOX. That radiation poisoning didn't happen on its own. Agreed. 5,000 millisieverts is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how he'd have absorbed that much ionizing radiation without spending time in the SOX. Alright, so Audran was heavily irradiated, most likely from time spent in the SOX. What else does he tell you? Well, those burns sounds like Dragonfire, but if Firewing burned Audran, why would he be working for her now? I don't think that Audran is working for the Firewing. I believe that he's serving her. On Green Winter's second DVD, he mentions that there is a cult within the SOX that worships the Firewing, the disciples of the Cleaning Fire. I believe that Audran belongs to this cult. As bad news, there's nothing more dangerous than a zealot. My thoughts exactly. A hireling can sometimes be bribed and reasoned with. A pawn can be liberated. But if the Firewing soldiers look up to her as a goddess figure, nothing short of killing her will deter them, and even that might not stop them. So it is possible that Audran is a dragon cultist. This seems to fit with much of the other information that we've uncovered. Did any other red flags jump out at you? The hospital couldn't ID Odron. Either somebody covered his tracks for him, or he was living completely off the grid. Indeed, if Odron were a denizen of the SOX, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. Ansel adjusts his glasses. It's a working theory at any rate. So to sum up, Odran has probably spent time in the SOX. It's possible that he even lived there as a member of Fauerswing's dragon cult. And he is after you. Ansel pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all of this reinforces one fact. We need to find Vauclair, and we need to do it fast. Agreed. Good, and that's all the more reason to gather Alice's fee as quickly as possible. There's a buzzing sound from Paul's wrist. He lifts his hand to look at his PDA. And as luck would have it, Frau Muller has arrived. Best of luck at the meeting, Dystopia. Remember, this is urgent. We need that money. I'm on it. A solitary woman stands at the edge of the U-Bahn platform. She suppresses a shiver and hugs herself for warmth. Frau Müller? She appears as Amsel described her, an impressive-looking woman of Astlaner descent, with coffee-colored skin and dark wavy hair. Everything about her screams corporate executive, from her expensive-looking suit to her tastefully understated makeup. She's obviously nervous, but she's hiding it well. She locks eyes with you and hesitates only slightly before speaking. Dystopia, I presume. Herr Amsel told me that I could meet you here. He wasn't lying. He said that you have a job for me. She holds her silence for a moment, then nods. Yes, I do. In truth, I'm desperate in need of your help. She offers you a small smile, an assumed name, obviously, but I have been told that this is how you people do business. She straightens in her seat and tries on a smile. It hangs there for a second, then fades away. She sighs. From my accent, you've no doubt inferred that I am Astlaner. Further, you may have guessed who I work for. You tell me, I'm not in the business of guessing. As Technology, the only Aslan-based corporation operating in Germany. I've been with the company for over a decade. Over the course of my employment, I've worked on a great many projects. From the innocuous to the obscene, my hands have touched it all. Never once did I question the wisdom of our research. Never once did I consider blowing the whistle on my employers. I kept my nose down, worked hard, and excelled at the tasks set before me. Go on, please. Last month, I was transferred here from my home in Tenochtitlan. They told me that an employee of my caliber was needed in Berlin, and that I would be working on a project with wide-reaching applications. The only other detail that I was given was the name of the project, Bloodline. That doesn't sound good. She looks you in the eye, and for the first time you can see the cracks in her composure. She's doing a good job of hiding it, but deep down this woman is terrified. I've seen many terrible things in my life, Dystopia. In Tenochtitlan, blood magic is commonplace. Take a moment to imagine what that means. In the underground markets, people are bought and sold as cattle. Street children are rounded up and bled like lambs. I witnessed all of these things by the age of 12. She takes a deep breath, then lets it out slowly. Seeing such things, it changes you, makes you numb. But what I found when I arrived here was worse. This project, it horrifies me, Dystopia, and it must be stopped. Tell me everything you know about Bloodline. She shakes her head. The less you know, the better, for both of us. You'll just have to trust me on that. You need only know that it is evil, and it is not the word that I use lightly. Alright, fine. What do you want me to do about it? She leans in and looks you in the eye. I want you to bring the building down. The computers, the research data, the mages, the scientists that are working to bring about this abomination. I want all of them burned to ash and buried in the rubble. No compromises and no exceptions. Her tone softens. I'm sure that you have unanswered questions. I'm not in the habit of dealing with Shadowrunners. In truth, I spent the majority of my career living in fear of you people, but I do know that you're the only ones who can get this done. So tell me, Dystopia, is there anything more that you need to hear from me? Or are you ready to make a decision? What about any innocent people in the building? None of us are innocent, Dystopia, but if you need to salve your conscience, rest assured that at the hour of your approach, the only personnel authorized to be on site will be security and senior members of the research team. And I assure you, neither are innocent in this matter. If the Bloodline project reaches completion, nobody will be safe ever again. I'm not a demolitions expert, Frau Miller. How do you expect me to level a building? You don't need to be. You just need to be a competent decker, which I'm told you are. The facility is powered by a number of on-site generators. There are safeguards in place to prevent them from overloading. In the event of a power spike, the system is designed to shut itself down. But I know how you can disable those safeguards. Once the generator begins to overload, you'll have a limited time to reach a safe distance. The explosion will be quite catastrophic. What can you tell me about the building security? Expect it to be tight, in addition to the standard security team, as technology has taken out a knight-errant high-threat response team contract to protect the building. Corporate doesn't seem to mind contracting a competitor for emergency response services. That should give you some indication as to the uniqueness of this project. Let's talk compensation. 36,000 yen, as I told your Herr Amsel. That's what I have allocated for the job. That's fair. It's better than fair. I've done my homework, Dystopia. I've reached a decision. I'll take the job. Her face visibly brightens. In that case, it's a deal. I can't tell you how relieved I am, Dystopia. Thank you for helping me to bring this nightmare to an end. I will learn out the remaining details with your Herr Ansel. He'll want to talk this over with you anyway, I'm sure. You're a good man, Dystopia. You are saving more lives than you know. Travel to the Gesundbrunnen U-Bahn station to locate Gunnari's missing shipments. Yeah, me and Glory should be fine. Hard times. It's a short train ride to Gesundbrunnen. You exit the subway car, stepping onto the old grungy platform. The place is deserted, though signs of life are everywhere. A gaping hole in the ceiling filters cool, hazy light in from above. To your right, a small plot of crop struggles to endure in the cold and the limited light of the station. Trash and junk litters the platform. It's clear this place hasn't had anything resembling a janitorial staff in quite some time. Somewhere in this old, run-down U-Bahn station lies the entrance to Gesundbrunnen Kais, and hopefully some leads on the whereabouts of the Rabengeister and Gunnari's missing shipment. Fluorescent grow lights are barely keeping the plants alive. Almost no light from the surface makes it this far underground. The stairwell down looks to have completely collapsed. Yeah, enough with the fucking music, come on. Jesus Christ. That's far enough, friend. The older man raises his hand, squinting as you approach. To his left, a young orc shifts his weight, resting one hand casually on a pistol at his hip. Both are dressed in what might be considered uniforms, but it's hard to tell for sure. We don't get many visitors down here these days, and you'll forgive me for saying, but well, you don't look like the types that usually come through here. He looks fed, for one thing. The older man snorts. Indeed. So what brings you to Gesundbrunnen, stranger? I'm from the Kraus Bazaar. We think a gang in these parts calling themselves the Rabengeisters hijacked a shipment belonging to us. You hear about anything like that? A gang, eh? The man looks over at his partner, then back at you warily. No, we keep security pretty tight around here. If a gang like that was running stuff through here, we'd know about it. Now look, we don't want any trouble. Why don't you just move along and catch the next train back? Last thing I want to do is cause any trouble. You look like you have to deal with more than enough of that. Do you mind if I just take a quick look around? The guard exchanges glances again. After a moment, the old man steps aside. Well, alright. I suppose there's no harm in that. Just watch yourself, okay? If you cause a scene looking for this gang of yours, there's more to our little militia here than you want to mess with. The man before you is of average build and in nondescript dress. He's leaning against the old wooden cabinet, reading a book. As you approach, he looks up and casts a warm smile in your direction. Guten Tag, the name Corin, friend. Can't say I've seen you around these parts before, just passing through, or I'm looking for information. Ever heard of a gang called Rabengeister? Certainly, they've been spinning quite a tale in these parts of late. Hard to know anything for sure, though. One rumor says they hijacked freight out of Frankenfurter Tor. Then the next day, you hear about the sighting down at Alexanderplatz. Hell, just yesterday, I heard someone claim they saw a member of the Rabengeister speed by in the U-Bahn tunnel, cling to the side of a train car. Ha, he leans closer. Between you and me, there's probably a gang called Surf Turf. Strange ones, though. Those. I heard they implant suction cups to their hands and feet. I guess they really like hitching rides on U-Bahn trains. He shakes his head with amusement. That's the Flux State for you, though. Full of strange and unexpected. Have you seen a shipment of weapons pass through here recently? His face falls. Wish that I had, friend. It's too bad. This place used to be soaring with commerce. But now hardly anything passes through here, I'm afraid. Folks around here are lucky enough to have a full meal at the end of the day. I'm sorry to hear that. Hope things turn around for the better soon. Yeah, me too. Thanks for the friendly words, though. Both folks that come through here are either looking to bum a quick handout or steal what they can before disappearing down the line. Can I do anything to help? No, I don't think so, friend, but I thank you for your gesture. The man squints at you. He looks thoughtful. Say, have you ever heard the story of the Schinderhands? I'm not sure. Schinderhands was an outlaw centuries ago, back in the Napoleonic days. See, Schinderhands was thief, a greedy one, if you believe the stories. He and his gang raided up and down the Rhine, stealing for themselves. But something happened. The people of the Rhineland, they were inspired by Schinderhands. In time, they hailed him as a hero. He was stealing from the French, you see. He chuckles, then continues. I think something happened then, something surprising, even to Schinderhands. I think because of this, perhaps he became the hero people wanted him to be. Maybe he did start stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, I don't know. The history books are confusing, to say the least. At any rate, the point is this, friend. I think that maybe, if enough people believe something to be true, it can change the truth of that thing. Perhaps if enough people here in Gesundbrunnen have a hope to believe in, then our fate will change as well. Until then, well, we continue on. Don't you mean Robin Hood? No, you would think, but that is an altogether different tale, I assure you, much more romanticized. Now, is there anything else I can help you with? What can you tell me about this place? Gesundbrunnen, well, it's my home for one, and we've got a small bar set up over there. But of course, you'll want to know about the market. His eyes light up. It used to be something to behold, my friend. One of the grandest markets in the city. You could find nearly anything in these stalls, for the right price. It's a real shame, but little by little, things slow down. Folks stop taking this subway line so much. But I guess that's the way of the flux. I'll be going now. Smells like something died in here. Upon closer inspection, it's just moldy soy cakes. The doors look to be handmade out of rusty sheet metal. Nothing of value catches your eye within. The woman starts a little at your approach, but she recovers quickly and beams brightly at you. The fox face on her headdress seems to grin as well. Her classically nasal American accent is obvious. Hey kiddo, share a drink with me. Sure, if you're buying. Awesome. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of options here. They got beer, home-brewed gin and schnapps. Pick your poison. I've been drinking gin and tonic. The tonic cuts out some of the gas flavor. I think they've been distilled in old propane tanks. Yeah. I'll have one of those too. Sure thing, guy. He fills a tumbler full of cheap gin and dirty ice, splashes a bit of tonic in, and slides it across the bar. It has a slight gasoline smell to it. So what's a girl like you doing in a place like this? I'm just traveling through. I heard there was a market, but well, just look at this place. She waves her arms around in a wide circle, taking everything in from the sadly shimmying woman to the near empty corridors outside. So I'm just having a drink with this fine gentleman here and then moving on. Where are you from? California Free State, doing the whole Europe tour thing, you know. Besides getting me out of that hellhole, it's been a real good learning experience. Had some good fun, made some good friends. She clatters the ice around in her drink. You can smell the cheap gin from where you stand. But it's a hellhole everywhere these days. Can't drink enough to forget some things I've seen. I'm all for communism and anarchy and free love, but sometimes the F-state goes a little too far. How do you mean? It's just the things like the turf wars and the racists and junk. You know, like those humanist assholes. Unpleasant. But that shit aside, I like the idea of a state without the man. Listen, my name's Goldfish. What's yours? Call me Dystopia. Nice to meet you, Dystopia. Now that I've said my bit, what are you doing in a place like this? I'm looking for the Rabengeister. Raven Ghost. Might be anything in Gesundbrunn. Seems like everyone and everything down here is a ghost. Ghost of the past, ghost trains, ghostly thin folk pale for lack of sunlight. I need sunlight too. I like to joke I photosynthesize, but it just gives me so much energy. Energy these people don't have anymore. Her expression grows stern for a moment as she stares into her gin and tonic. Maybe I've been down here for long enough. Maybe I'm a ghost too. Alright, that's it, Fräulein. You're officially cut off. Your total is 36 yen. Can I at least buy something for my friend here? He's been talking with me a bit and hasn't had anything. No, you cut off. I don't want you even sipping out of it. Dude, chill. Forget I asked. She turns to you with a shrug. Sorry I couldn't get you anything else, but thanks for being a pal. Old merchant. Hello there, newcomer. I have many exciting and rare weapons for you to peruse. Instruments of death, and the sorts you'll not find anywhere else in Berlin. Care to take a look? Sure, let's see what you have. Slapdash pistol. Made up of a mixed parts from Irish Cavalier and Ruger pistols. Seems pretty shit. See anything you like? I don't know, doesn't seem like there's much here that would interest me. Well, it's been lean pickings lately around these parts, and on top of that, there's the militia. They need most of the best pieces to help keep us safe. Still, we've got some reliable weapons for home defense. What's up with the shoddy looking pistol? Exquisite, is it not? The work of a master craftsman he used to live here. For some of the finest slug throwers you'll find this side of the Atlantic, and at that price of steel. It looks like some of those parts are hot glued together. As I said, the work of a master craftsman. A weapon made by any other would simply break after being fired. I'll be going now, thanks. Hi there, stranger. I got a sale on today. You interested in some rations, salvage, some home remedies? Just looking for information. Ever heard of a gang called Rabengeister? The troll's eyes flicker back and forth. No, I can't say that I have. Have you seen a shipment of weapons pass through here recently? The troll's eyes flicker back and forth. I don't know anything about weapons. I just sell scrap and salvage and home remedies. Well, thanks for your time. The crate appears to have been pried hastily open. There is a partially torn shipping label on the side. Most of the ink is worn away, but the word Kraus Bazaar is still clearly visible. There's a crate behind your shop that looks like it was marked for delivery to Kraus Bazaar. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? The troll looks around nervously. No, I don't know anything about crates. Looking for some backup. It's just us here, friend. Okay, look, yeah, the Reverend guys that came by yesterday asked me to move the rest of these medical supplies. Then they disappeared. I don't know where they went. I mean, hey, I gotta make a living, right? Look around. They leave me this kind of score. I'm grateful. Already sold most of it in less than a day. Plenty of folks around here in need of real medical supplies. Alright, I've told you what I know, so we're cool, right? I don't know anything else. Hate to break it to you, but those supplies were stolen from another keys, my keys. So, means all that money you've been making belongs to me. Hey, come on, I didn't steal that stuff. I'm just trying to get by here. Alright, I'm going to let you go, but I'd be more careful in the future if I were you. The militia captain stands at alert, her eyes tracking slowly across the market before coming to rest on you. Guten Tag. It looks like you keep a close eye on these keys. Have you seen a shipment of weapons pass through here recently? No, I would have noticed that. I'm looking for a gang called Rabengeister. Ever heard of them? No, she frowns slightly, and I wouldn't suggest asking questions about such things around here. Yeah, not at all sketchy. There is extreme disrepair. Water is flooding out of the walls and stagnant in pools on the tiles of floor. You can smell the mildew from here. This appears to be an old U-Bahn information terminal. Judging by the system's design and current condition, it is quite old. The screen goes dark as the machine begins to emit a bizarre variety of clicking and chirping sounds. After an interminable amount of time, the screen finally shuttles back to life. Welcome to Gesundbrunnen Station. Please select an option for the menu below. Press the 3 key, Station History. You have selected Station History. Route information, custom query. Yeah, but I can't even spell the Geist, whatever the fuck. You notice a set of scuff marks on the ground, as if something heavy was dragged across here. The marks vanish into the wall. Inspect the nearby wall more closely. You find a small seam in the wall that suggests that there might be a passageway hidden in the wall here, but you can spot no clear mechanism for opening it. Maybe we should ask around. This looks like the place, so I'm sure someone might spill the beans. Get your teammate to force open the wall. It takes some doing, but your teammate manages to force open the false wall. The hinges give way with a scrape and crunch, and the passage behind is revealed. These crates don't seem to be part of the shipment that was en route to Krausen Bazaar. It's the same man you met in the market, but the friendliness is gone from his face. In his place, his cold, unwavering gaze. You should have stuck to the market, stranger. If the Rabbengeister wished to be found, we'd open a fucking cafe. Now what do you want with us? Say your piece. I don't know, it looks like an invitation to me. If you really don't want to be found, you might want to hide your tracks a little better. He stares you down for a moment, then breaks into a chuckle. Aye, I'll grant you, we've been a little careless. I guess we figured with Monica Schaefer out of the picture, the Kraus Bazaar would be an easy score. That's why you're here, right? We stole your supplies, now you want them back. The shipment belonged to us, I'm not leaving without it. Which I completely understand, stranger, believe me. But unfortunately, we need those supplies more than you do. So I will have to graciously decline your offer to relieve us of your property. And I will graciously give you one chance to turn over those supplies before I shoot you in the face. That's very... Curran rolls his eyes suddenly, then turns to his crew. Did you imbeciles really not search them for weapons, for fuck's sake? Regardless, I had hoped to avoid bloodshed, but we cannot back down on this. Sorry, stranger. Curran sighs and draws his rifle. Stop missing, for fuck's sake. They're all empty. Just full of old Simpsons recordings. Use terminal. A standard cyber terminal waits on the table before you. The screen is active, displaying a basic list of simple data queries. Check inventory logs. It appears that the Rabengeisters keep a detailed inventory of their stolen goods. A quick scan of the data indicates that while the medical supplies bound for Kraus Bazaar are long gone, Gunnari's missing weapons shipment is currently in a storage locker at Frankfurter Tor. The locker number is marked as 49. Copy the information to your PDA and forward it to Gunnari. Surface access have been welded shut, probably an attempt to keep security tight. You emerge from the U-Bahn station and out onto the familiar streets of Kraus Bazaar. The energy here is a stark contrast to the weary, slowly drowning mood of the Gesundbrunnen. The Krausberg is an island of hope, afloat still amidst the dangerous currents of the flux state, but it wouldn't take much for it to capsize. It's time to find Gunnari and tell him the news. Welcome back. Need some weapons, some ammunition perhaps. I took care of the business with the Rabengeisters. They won't be hijacking our shipments anymore. A faint smile plays across the normally taciturn merchant's face. Yes, some people have already retrieved the shipment, exactly where you said it would be. Good work. How were you able to manage that? Things got a little messy, but I got the job done. A cold smile flickers across his face. Good. Sometimes a little mess is necessary. Here, your payment as promised, and should you need any new weapons, thanks to you, I have some new merchandise available. Would you like to take a look? Yes, let's see what you got. Rifle. Damage 15. The official sniper rifle of the CSA. Colt M23 Smartlink. Requires ranged weapons 6. Ground grants plus 1 close combat, 5 HP. Let's security grants 10 HP. Assemble the team and travel to the AG Chemi Europa facility to extract the MK6 prototype. Monolithic, plastic, sterile. The Berlin office of AG Chemi Europa is all of these things and more. The worst qualities of modern corporate culture, all mixed into a toxic stew and sluiced into a single prefab office building. Thankfully, you shouldn't have to stay long. According to the intel that your client provided, this should be a simple smash and grab operation, and you've been given the tools to carry it out with a minimum of fuss. The MK6 prototype, whatever it is waiting for you on the 25th floor. It's time to go and get it. AG Chemi Europa, Satellite Administrative Complex, after hours. After a few moments of sifting through cables, you find a diagnostic connector with the right input to fit the little black box that Herr Schmidt gave you. Plug in the little black box. The connector slips into the box with a satisfying click. A tiny red light set into the box lid begins flashing. After a few seconds, it turns solid yellow and then finally shifts to green. At that instant, all the lights in the garage turn off. A few seconds later, the emergency lighting kicks in. If what Schmidt told you was true, you've just killed the main power for most of the building. In theory, the box has also circumvented the security cameras on the building's upper floor. You should be able to intercept the camera feeds by tapping into the elevator console on the 24th floor. Handle the thing, alright team? Let's go. These crates have been sealed in the only visible markings of Project Atlas. Without warning, your comlink screen bursts into static. You hear a telltale series of clicks. Someone has established an audio connection to your comlink. A moment later, a deep, sonorous voice speaks into your ear. You recognize it instantly. Your lodge contact, Luca Dewar. Dystopia, do not speak, just listen. I have a proposition for you. I understand your team is currently en route to retrieve a package, the MK6 prototype, if I'm not mistaken. My associates and I are interested in acquiring the MK6 for our own studies. We would like you to deliver the device to us. Once you've acquired the MK6, you will proceed back to the garage as planned. There you will find transport parked beside your client's van. Load the MK6 into the transport and you will be rewarded, Herr Schmidt. Will also be dealt with to protect you from reprisal. To accept our offer, simply proceed as instructed and return the prototype to us. Please note that we need the MK6 in undamaged condition. If it is not in full working order, it is useless to us. As you know, our organization takes good care of its friends. It would be to your advantage to help us. Good day. The line goes dead with a click. A moment later, the sound of your teammates' comm chatter floods back into your ears. Hey, hold up a sec. Gloria stops short. What's going on? I just got a comment from a contact of mine. His organization wants the MK6 for themselves, and they're offering us a lot of money to make that happen. I think I must have misheard you. For a second there, it sounded like you were thinking of stabbing our client in the back for some extra neon. But that can't be what you said, because you know better than to do something like that, right? Smith will get what he wants. I just wanted you to know in case any fallout from this decision comes drifting back our way. She nods. Good to see you're making the right call. Yeah, runner's reputation is everything. So. Eager indicates a console built into the wall beside the elevator. This looks like the elevator console. The camera feed should have been routed here. It only takes a moment to connect your PDA, and immediately visual feeds from all over the building begins to flood in. Alright, now let's find a way upstairs. Warning, toxic gas detected. Laboratory lockdown engaged. Laboratory observation. Observation console. A warning light strobes out from the console at your approach. Large white letters shriek out against the red background. Warning, toxic contaminant detected. COCI2, phosgene gas, hazardous material, override engaged. Laboratory entrances locked down. Purge laboratory air. Warning, this action will result in venting of contaminants to exterior atmosphere. Level 5 authorization required. Forge a level 5 authorization. Authorization accepted. Initiate purge of laboratory atmosphere. The distant whir of a powerful fan system fills the air. Papers and other loose objects from the lab begins to flutter and roll as powerful wind disturbs their rest. Atmosphere purge. No contaminants detected. Disengaging lockdown. Access substance library. Connection failed. Network access unavailable. Stop getting stuck on everything. The scientist lays dead beside a small pile of smashed glass, and a number of beakers have been knocked over on the nearby table. This computer is powered on, but in sleep mode. When the screen comes to life, you find a half-written text file on the screen. The timestamp on the most recent edit tells you that it was written just a few minutes ago. I didn't sleep last night. Doesn't look like I'm going to sleep tonight either. The last test batch failed. My fault. I got the mixture wrong. Sloppy work, Jensen. I can barely keep my eyes open. Got to try again, though. No excuses in this office. I despise relying on stimulants, but I've got no choice. Got to keep going. Progress marches on. Starting a new batch. If a house of fresh pet isn't ready to be tested tomorrow, well, best not to think about that. Got to concentrate. Remember lab safety. Keep alert. Keep awake. One wrong move could spell disaster. Glancing at the menu, it looks like there are log entries reaching back for 2 weeks. All of the entries are attributed to the same author, and none of them appears to be password protected. Read entry dated 2 weeks ago. The new formula arrived today, Formula 17. I swear, whoever names these things must have no imagination at all. Formula 17, honestly. Still, I can't wait to start working on it. From what I've read, early clinical trials were promising in the extreme. Amazingly potent, this stuff, and increased potency means less frequent injections at a lower dosage. There's nothing not to like. Despite my enthusiasm, there is still much to be done. Speeding up absorption rates is first on the list, and I have some concerns regarding the subject's immune reactions. Perhaps the formula could be tailored on a patient-by-patient basis. Read entry dated last week. Tailoring doses to individual patients has worked wonders. The key was taking a gene therapy-based approach. They've been using it in medicine for ages, so why not apply the same logic here? So in a nutshell, I've used the subject's own DNA to delude their immune system into believing that Formula 17 belongs in their bodies. Simple and effective. This approach has helped to increase the formula's absorption rate, as well as significantly reduce incidences of rejection. Unfortunately, it also rules out an easy mass-produced product, but I am convinced that the result will justify the additional cost. Read yesterday's entry. A week. He waits an entire week before telling me that tailoring the mixture is an unacceptable solution, and then he tells me that the trials are to begin tomorrow. I have no time, and Giesbrecht applying so much pressure that I can barely think. Bastard. House offers probably threatening him. All of them can rot. Maybe now that House offers playing heat the sheets with Giesbrecht's secretary, he'll learn to lighten up. We can only hope. Anyway, I have some new ideas to move forward with the formula. Admittedly, they're far-fetched, possibly even dangerous. But if I don't start producing some results, I get the feeling that it won't be my problem for much longer. Wish me luck, Journal. It's science time. Walk away. On the counter is note, carefully transcribed in neat handwriting. The paper bears the letterhead of senior executive Leonard Stromberg. I'm still waiting for that report. When I said ASAP, I meant I needed it yesterday. Stay until you've completed the test, then leave the report on my desk. The door code is 55139. Do this tonight. I'll expect to see it waiting for me when I arrive tomorrow. Stromberg. Whoops. Well, I guess I found the guards. Welcome to the AGC Data Library, Archive, and Employee Record Systems. Enter search terms to begin. Search the archive. Bypass the authorization code. Authorization accepted. Welcome, Herr Stromberg. MKVI prototype data stored under Project Atlas heading. Redirecting inquiry. Project Atlas. Volumes of information begin to flit across the screen. A good half of what you're seeing has been redacted, and the rest is written in impossible dense corpse speak. Access visual records. VP level authorization required. Do you wish to continue? Continue. His code then. Maybe it's the same here. 54139. 54139. VP authorization request. Oh, okay. On the bar, a number of bottles of alcohol. Most of them look expensive. Grab a bottle for the road. Cheap booze. At first glance, this terminal appears unremarkable. It's password locked and a cheerful screensaver marches across its display. Inspect the terminal. Upon closer inspection, you notice something interspersed among the colorful, bouncing sprites of the screensaver. There is a symbol that you recognize, the dead drop marker of the Shadowrun writer. As you study the display, as a green light winks on above the terminal's display, the recording light of a pinhole camera. The screensaver disappears, and the screen floods with glowing green text. Shadowrun writer, contributor 1432, recognized. Welcome, Dystopia. Secret projects. This is an open request for information about the projects and material prototypes being developed at this facility. It is known that a synthetic drug is being developed here in support of a project called Atlas. In addition, a functional prototype called MKVI has been developed. The first contributor to provide us with the project data for Atlas, the chemical formula for this new drug, and the visual record for the MK6 in operation will be handsomely rewarded. All three pieces of information are required for a payout. AG Chemi Europa is known to be a heartless corporation with little regard for meta-human safety or morality. They guard their secrets jealously and seek to hoard all information gained for themselves. This behavior cannot be allowed to go unpunished. What they know, all shall know. No longer will they hide their secrets in the shadows. The timely delivery of this information will be well rewarded. Enter the passcode. 54139. A stack of business cards on this desk reveals that it belongs to one Annika Schroeder. A cursory search reveals that the desk's drawers are stuffed full of lewd love notes, all hastily written on scraps of office stationery. Rummage through the notes. Exploring Annika's desk is like embarking on an odyssey of filth. 30 seconds in, and you've already learned 3 new euphemisms for sex in a storage closet, as well as exciting new definitions for a variety of common office terms. Thankfully, your search also turns up something more immediate value, a scrap of paper with a name and a 5-digit code scribbled on it. Haushofer, 84792. Download the project data to your PDA for the Shotgun writer. Access visual records. Continue. 84792. 84792. Welcome, Herr Haushofer. There are too many records here to sort through quickly. A quick scan reveals the following details. Recordings of laboratory experiments on metahumans, images of an extensive series of cyber surgeries being performed upon a large troll, records of that same troll carving his way through opponents with a massive axe, a gun cam footage from what appears to be a vehicle-mounted chain gun. The weapon has been photographed tearing apart a variety of targets, both artificial and organic. Copy the visual records for the Shotgun writer. Conduct another search. Atlas. Volume of information begin to flit across the screen. A good half of what you're seeing has been redacted, and the rest is written in impossibly dense corpse speak. Optional launch, return prototype undamaged. Optional Shotgun writer, drug formula. Shotgun writer, 2 of 3 data files found. Mission item added, Project Atlas folder. On the desk is a file folder labeled Project Atlas. Open it. The folder is empty except for a single note. Moved to digital archive and locked under executive authorization. So what was that then? 84792. 84792. The elevator whisks you upward towards the executive level, 25th floor. As expected, the run has been relatively smooth sailing so far. A chime breaks the silence as the elevator glides to the stop. The MK6 is somewhere on this floor. All that you have to do is find it. Emergency light wink out, leaving you in darkness. A moment later, the building's light flip on, cranked all the way up to full illumination. The light is uncomfortably bright. A quick check of your comlink shows that your security feed has been terminated. Instead of a command view of the 24th floor, you find yourself staring at a blank screen. Well, that can't be good. No, it seems bad. The door slides open with a pneumatic hiss. An enormous figure fills your vision. It stands motionless by a console in the corner of the room. Almost every inch of the thing is covered in dull steel and gleaming chrome. Its mechanical arms end in articulated hands that would look out of place on an industrial machine. Bulky, cumbersome things, designed for crushing power rather than finesse. Clutched in one of those crushing hands, a chain gun glints with sinister purpose. That shouldn't be possible. Nothing can be implanted with that much chrome and live. Yeah, Dietrich shakes his head. Yeah, this isn't right. Well, whatever it isn't moving. I think that it's on standby. The lights are on, but nobody's home. The figure stands completely still, but its eyeless head fidgets in agitation. Something about it reminds you of a snake tasting the air. Off to one side, the screen of a control console glows cheerfully in the gloom. MK6 Cyber Zombie Prototype Control Console. Activate the console. The MK6 prototype is the exclusive property of AG Chemi Europa. Unauthorized access is prohibited. To put the prototype into demonstration mode, you may activate its system from the following menu. Alternatively, the system can be directly piloted by a remote control rig. Press any key to continue. Have Glory examine the cyber zombie's augmentations. As she stands next to the cyber zombie, you can't help but notice how much chrome riddles her own body. The cyberware is high grade, quality stuff, but not mil-spec. The arms look industrial in design. Interesting choice, but there's nothing wrong with it. The control system looks interesting, like a drone control interface, but it's wired into the base of the skull. From the positioning, I'd say that it's connected directly to the thing's brainstem. Glory takes a close look at the cyber zombie's control module. A moment later, she takes a sudden half step back. She turns to look at you, a disgusted look on her face. Dystopia, listen to me. We have to kill this thing. This thing is our payday, Glory. Explain yourself. This troll is still conscious. He's still conscious. They've outfitted him with an inhibitor chip. He's trapped in his own body, screaming to get out. This isn't just a prototype, Dystopia. It's a person. We can't just cash him in for a paycheck. Can we do anything about it? Help him in some way? She takes another look at the control module, scowling. No promises, but I can try. Do it. Not here. Let's get him down to the garage first. I want to have a van close by in case anything goes wrong. In the meantime, we're gonna have to activate him. She falls back to her regular position in the group. Just remember, Dystopia, that's a man you're giving orders to, not a machine. Access the system's README file. MK6 prototype demonstration model. This MK6 prototype incorporates top-of-the-line cyberware from all AG Chemi Europa subsidiaries, including the Size Deadside, Laser Designator, BUT Heavy Industries Powerlift, Industrial Cyberarms, and the brand new SACE Sense Shell Cyberskull. Where necessary, competitors' products have been incorporated into the platform. Aries dermaplating, Universal Omnitech, move-by-wire, etc. These systems should be considered placeholders for this proof-of-concept prototype. The biological component of the MK6 was selected for size and durability by General Genetics worldwide. All autonomous functions necessary to maintain the biological component are original to the component itself and should self-regulate within operational limits. As a proof-of-concept demonstration model, the MK6 was designed for remote operation. A SACE, Eyes in the Sky, drone control system has been incorporated into the MK6 Cyberskull. Comlink controls is also possible for casual control, but for product demonstration purposes, use of the drone control system is advised. Armaments. The MK6 prototype comes equipped with the Ares Vanquisher vehicular rotary cannon to demonstrate the MK6's actuated strength and recoil suppression capabilities. The model is also equipped with a global polymer monofilament axe for demonstration purposes. This weapon has been designed with a heft well beyond the lifting capacity of any augmented meta-human. The MK6, of course, can swing it with ease. Long-term goals. In demonstrating the MK6 combat capabilities, it is this officer's hope that AG Chemi Europa's newly developed Formula 17 cybermantic reagent will prove its value to the board directors, both as an astonishing technical achievement and as a lucrative new revenue stream for the company. Slave the cyber zombie to your comlink and activate it. You hit the activation control and the cyber zombie lurches to life. It takes a step forward and you can hear the whir of actuators calibrating to adjust to its weight. A few seconds later, the whirring sound dies down. It relaxes into a slight crouch. Activation complete. Follow and protect protocol engaged. The Knight-Errant captain takes a half step towards you, magnified by his masked speakers. His voice comes out like a roar of some great beast. Drop your weapon and step away from the prototype. Do it now. Easy there, Tiger. Let's talk this over. We're knight errant, fool. We don't talk things over with thief scum like you. You will comply with my orders, or you will die. The choice is yours. Attack. The hell with this. Slask. Accessing prototype override. Root system access. Attempting override. Designate target. Marks target with a reflected laser light, making it easier to hit. Splat. made kind of quick work of those guys. Looks like security has control of the doors again. Quite big security team they got. Oh, there are fucking guys here. The fuck? I'm confused. It's kind of rough that it's bugged out, so there's like 3 times as many people that should be. Sprat. In fact, she's just missing all the time now. So fucking skills, like unarmed 2. Yeah, okay. It's no fucking wonder then that she's missing. Maybe she should be shooting. Sure do. Okay. Have a good one. That was the lockdown. Target spotted. Engaging. This would be kind of rough without Big Daddy. just camera controlled it. much AoE there. Why are they running around like fucking, I don't know, headless chickens? The AI for combat isn't very good. The game would be a lot harder if they just attacked when they should. I mean, getting the rigger killed was obviously a good idea, but other than that, this Jack isn't impressive. least pest control. Okay. You step into the garage, prototype in tow. Before you are two vehicles that you knew would be waiting. Your client's van and the lodge. Decision time, boss. We've got two different clients and they both want the same thing. He shakes his head. Can't say that I like the idea of giving this thing to either of them. Dietrich's right. We're not talking about a piece of merchandise. There's a living troll buried under all that chrome. It's your call, boss. Can't say I envy your decision. As you approach the MK6, its head turns to track you. Its body is held at rigid attention. God, that's eerie. It's almost like it's waiting for something. Have Glory disable the MK6's control circuits. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Glory takes a moment to examine the protrusion at the base of the MK6's spine. Then she pops the case on the cyber zombie's control unit. Her sculpted fingers flicker and dance in the MK6's circuitry. A moment later, a strange shiver runs through its body. It stumbles forward, lurching awkwardly on its feet. A few seconds later, it seems to recover. It stares at its hand for a moment, then turns to face you. The MK6 speaks two words. Its voice is as brittle as broken glass. Thank you. Slowly, mechanically, the cyber zombie reaches up to grip its head in both hands, and it squeezes. Caught in a vice-like grip of those heavy industrial cyberarms, the MK6's cyber skull might as well be made of tinfoil. The air fills with the tortured sounds of tearing plastic and bulking steel. The MK6 gives a final heave, and its armored skull crumples like a paper cup. Its body goes slack, and it topples to the ground, dead. Glory looks into your eyes, and you can see a flicker of warmth. That was the right decision. That was the right choice, Dystopia. He clearly wanted to die. Dietrich puts a hand on her shoulder. Let's load the body into the van. Glory, love. Herr Schmidt won't be happy, but the hell with him. He never said that the MK6 had to be returned alive. Send the MK6 body back to your client. Exactly, never said a lie. The U-Bahn feels especially cramped on your right back to the Cross Bazaar. In your mind's eye, you can still see the carnage that you left behind at the Ag Chemi building. Memories replay themselves over and over in your mind. Fleeting visions of a hulking thing made of muscle and chrome. You put them aside, shelve them for later. The job is over. It's time to collect your pay. Your PDA rings and the face of your fixer, Paul Ansel, appears on the screen. I have uncovered some terrible information. The team is assembled in the safe house. Please meet us there when you are able. Okay, this is gonna be it for now, but thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.